Hello everyone, Nigel with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back to the channel. Today is the 4th of January 2024. You may well have seen my video I did last night on the Hong Kong models, Hannants and Happy Christmas. And in that video I featured a model of a 1/32 scale Lancaster and a B17. And you may well have woken up today thinking, I need a 1/32 scale Lancaster on the bench. I need to get one on the bench today. I need one now. So you start looking around and you think, right, I'm going to get the best there is. And this is it. This is the Border Models Avro Lancaster B Mark 1. The kit number is BF010 if you want to look around for it. It is a beauty. It's ex-wingnut wings. Wingnut wings never finished the tooling. Border Models got hold of it and have released the kit. And it's a beauty. It's quite possibly the best or the most accurate model kit out there ever. It's probably not the best model kit because it has got some foibles. There's a lot of cleanup required on some parts and the clear parts leave a bit to be desired. They've sorted that now, and the instructions are absolutely awful. They are terrible. I've done videos about the instructions, so go take a look, but I'm not going to go into that now. But yeah, this by far is the best 1/32 scale Lancaster kit you can buy as far as accuracy goes. But there's a big problem. There's a pretty major problem with this. It's £620. Now, if you want to get the Dam Buster version, which I just reviewed last week or the week before, go and have a look at that one. That one's only £595, so hey, it's a bargain, you know. But basically, when you buy the Dam Buster kit, you're getting this kit. Everything that's in this kit is in the Dam Buster kit, and then you get an extra sprue for the Dam Buster parts. It's a bigger box. Is it better packaging or isn't it? It's got lots more room in it, so the parts can all float around now. And as you know, mine had broken clear parts. So, you know, they've made a new clear sprue and they've packaged the old sprues in a box. And they've put that box in the box and left the other sprue loose. Whatever. But yeah, this is great. 620 quid for this one, 595 for the Dam Buster. That might be a bit out of your budget. Probably is. It's a lot of money for a plastic model kit, really, isn't it, when you face it? But it is a beauty. And I've got two of these and one of the Dam Buster. The other one I'm building at the moment. People keep asking when I'm going to finish it, and I just do a little bit now and again. At the moment I'm working on riveting because this thing is covered in raised rivets, which makes it, again, it's a bit of a nightmare when it comes to doing seams and stuff, but at the end of the day it's worth it. So you think now, £620, no way. Okay, so if you don't want to spend £620, you can get this one. This is the Hong Kong Models B1, B3, oh, well, they call it a Mark 1. It's actually Mark 1, Mark 3. You can build either from, I believe. And this one, if you get the special edition, it comes with a clear pair of fuselage halves. You get the normal grey plastic fuselage halves, but you also get the clear fuselage halves if you get the actual limited edition one. It should have a sticker on the box. Mine's got the sticker in the box, I haven't put it on. But yeah, I don't think you get that now, but on the original release you've got the clear sprues. So this one it's obviously the same sort of size. It actually has a more complete interior in some respects than the Border Model one does, and it's a lovely model. It builds into a lovely model. There's something wrong with the shape of the clear canopy. There's the engine intakes aren't right, and it's got recessed riveting and no stress skin, whereas the Border Model one has raised riveting and stress skin. So yes, it's got kind of issues, but when you see it built up, it is gorgeous. It's a lovely looking model. And as I say, you can build a 1 or a 3 from this, although they call it a Mark 1. It's got the paddle props, so you can do like a post 44. You've got the POS option in there. The only issue with it, if you are into your accuracy, it has all the windows in the fuselage. It show it on here. Showing it on the box front without the windows, like when POS was rebuilt, it didn't have the windows down the fuselage. But the kit actually has the windows. But I did mention this in my video yesterday. I've actually done one of these and blocked off all the windows, and if I can dig it out, I'll show you a how-to video on how to block these windows off and get them all flat, so you don't have any witness there of the windows whatsoever. But there we go. So that one there is your second option. It's a B Mark 1. It has the cookie in there. It's got the other bombs and everything. It's got the bomb bay doors. You can display it with the bomb bay open or closed. It's got full engine detail on all 4 engines. It's got the oil tank detail. It's got full undercarriage detail. It's all there, okay? As I say, there's a few bits and pieces of accuracy about it, but built up, it looks like a 32nd scale Lancaster. It looks beautiful, and it's huge. The other advantage with this one over the border model one, with this one, the wings remain removable. You can just unslot the wings for storage. The border model Lancaster, the outer section of the wings, so they break about here, where the dihedral starts, so you end up with a model about this wide, with just that sort of stub of wing on and the inboard engines, and the rest of the wing comes off. So for storage, that makes life a lot easier. So so this one currently at Hannant's is £399.99. You will find it cheaper elsewhere, but I don't think you'll find any more of the ones with the clear fuselage halves anymore. So the Hannant's one, £399.99, it has clear fuselage halves. So you may decide you want this one. But you may decide that £400 is a bit over the top. Okay. Then get this one. This is the Grand Slam version. And this is from the same manufacturer, Hong Kong Models. And this is the one I showed you in my video last night. And this is, again, it's a 1/32 scale B Mark 1, but it's the special Grand Slam version. But what you have to remember is in this kit, you get all the bomb bay and everything. We're going to do a full review in this video of this kit, and we're going to see exactly what we get. But I think you get everything. I think you get the bombs, the cookie, the lot. Okay? And I think we've got a full set of instructions for the B Mark 1, and then we've got a separate little manual for all the stuff specific to the Grand Slam. So we're going to get inside this box. Now, the reason I've shown you the other two is so I can show you what you can get. You can also get the Dam Buster version in the Hong Kong Models, but I don't have it, so I can't show it. So you can get it. And there's also one which they call a 3-in-1, which you can do as a Dam Buster or as the original. Is it a 2-in-1? I don't think you can do it as a Grand Slam. I'm not sure. Maybe they do. Maybe it is all of it. I don't know. But this one, this is kit number 01E038, and you can get this currently from Hannant's for 273 quid. So yes, it's still a lot of money, but with a retail price of £409, they're giving you a third off. It's £273. So in 1/32 scale Lancaster terms, it's a bargain. It's a lot of money, but it's a bargain. You will see these on eBay at the bargain basement places for like 330 quid, but you can still get 60 quid off that today by ordering it from Hannant's. And because it's over £100, you will get free postage, and their packaging is amazing. So yeah, well worth a look. So what we're going to do, we're going to get this box open, have a look, and see what we've got. Now, as I say, the kit is very similar. Well, it is the B Mark 1 kit, so we're only going to have a few additional parts, but I will do a full review for those that haven't already seen it. But have a flick through. If you have already seen it, you don't want to see all the kit reviewed again, just have a flick through and you'll see in there, you know, where the special bits come out. You'll see the smaller manual come out if you just fast forward, and you'll see the little sprue come out with the, well, it won't be so little because that bomb's going to be absolutely huge. So get yourself a coffee, get yourself a beer, whatever, sit back and enjoy. What I'll probably end up doing is stopping while I open the bags, because they're the Hong Kong Models use the hard wrinkly bags and they sound awful. So there'll probably be lots of stops and starts in this, but we will get there. Okay, so let's get to the bench. Okay, so as we can see, we have a huge box. So if we go from corner to corner, you can see there's the symbol over there with the part number, and then we're going across and you can see 839 parts, 972mm wingspan, 664mm in length. These lovely black and white fin flashes. This is what I love about this Lancaster. It's got the light grey underside. It's got the green and earth on the top. I've had a check of references. Somebody commented that it's a lighter green. According to my references, it's the same. It's a dark green, dark earth. I will dig deeper because I kind of agree. This does look to be lighter in colour. You can see here we've got some flak, and we've got the Grand Slam there being dropped. Absolutely huge bomb. And then we've got all the engine intakes and everything here. You can see they're depicted there as the B Mark 1 intakes, but in the kit they're actually a little bit bigger than that. And we've got the wrong radiators in there, but you'll see in a minute. Also on here I noticed they've got the small Astrodome, which is actually incorrect for this model, so you may want to look at Aftermarket for that if there's something available, or if you have got the border model kit, or you know somebody who's got one and they haven't used the border model kit. Comes with the taller Astrodome, so you should be able to cut that off and then fit the taller one if you want to. And then we've got the covered up nose, obviously, and we've got the that's the later pitot up there rather than being down there. This will have window. If you notice, it has no armour on the pilot seat, and that's basically it. Obviously there's no guns in there, there's no upper turret, and the rear turret is the same as an ordinary B1. So there we are. Looking around the box, we can see here we have some CAD images of the model, and you can see this is the Grand Slam there, and then this is the B1. You can see it's got the ordinary bomb bay there. So I think what he's trying to do there is show you that you can actually build either. So I'm sure it's got the whole B1 kit in it. You can see there's a view underneath looking at that massive Grand Slam bomb. And as you can see here, it has got the full interior. The border model kit states full interior. I'm surprised they haven't been pulled up on it, because it actually finishes about underneath the upper rear turret. There is no interior from there up to the back of the main spar. So when you actually look in the back door, you can actually see that there is nothing in there. So it needs the addition. So it might be worth if you've got one of these kits, steal some bits out of it and close the door up on this one, or whatever you want to do. But there we go. 14 years of age and over. Not for little kids, and this has come from Bachmann Europe, so it's a genuine UK kit. Going around the box, we're not going to bother looking at the ends because I can't get it under the camera, but we have here, we have YZJ. I'm assuming we only get one option in the kit. We can see PD119 YZJ 617 Squadron, Woodhall Spa, UK, April 1945. Okay, and it's in cooperation with AK and Large Scale Modeler. I wonder if we'll see one within cooperation with Nigel's Modelling Bench. We may well do. Keep your eyes peeled. And there we have the other side of it. So lovely. Very, very nice. Very bright, very colourful, and a massive sort of, difference to the normal. We're so used to seeing just the black and the dark earth and dark green. This is going to look stunning with that. It's like the B-52s when you see them without, the Vietnam era. They were all black and green and on the top, and then you started to see them in all the different colours, and they just look so much better. So going inside the box, there's quite a lot to show you here before we actually start looking at sprues. What's really nice is, if you remember, when I did my original release, when I first got my Hong Kong Models kit, I was quite disappointed in the packaging. In fact, the first kit I got I had to take back because one of the front fuselage halves was actually broken in two, where it had all been bashed around in the box. And if you look here now, what Hong Kong Models have done, they've listened. They've got their clear parts wrapped in cardboard, which is nice. Hong Kong Models packaging with their clear parts has always been superb. They often put this clear film over. I don't know if you can see that in there, but there is a clear film. It's like a sellotape film. So it's not only in a bag with the film, it's now also in a box as well. So that's really nice. So thanks for that, Neil. If you keep hearing me say Neil is actually the guy. He is Mr. Hong Kong Models. I'm not going to squeeze them back in there and damage them. I'm going to put them over there out of the way. And then we've got our wings. And obviously there's been issues with damage on the trailing edges. These wings, it's a bit of a gimmick, but it's quite good. The wings are actually moulded in one piece. So you don't have wing halves, that the wing is actually one piece. If I could slide that off of there, no I can't, it's stapled to the bag. But we can see they've listened to us there with the packaging. And then basically going through, you can see we've got here, there's our Grand Slam. Look at the size of that. There's my hand. You can see the size of the bomb there. It's absolutely huge. And then it looks like we've got basically a complete B1 kit with everything in it. So I can't see it. Yes, we do. I was going to say I can't see any bombs. We do have the bombs. So you have all the bombs in there and your cookie sheet. If you get this kit and you build it as a B1, you're going to be happy. If you build it as a Grand Slam, you're going to have lots of bits and pieces for your spares box. So you can put some more bombs in your A20 should you want to. So anyway, without further ado, let's get this box to one side and then we'll have a look at the instructions and look at the decals first, and then we'll have a look at some plastic. Okay, so here we have the instruction manual for this kit, and this is actually just a small addendum to the standard B Mark 1. Now, if you are buying this kit to make this one, I've got a surprise for you in a second. It actually stunned me. Right, so here we have the manual. So this is basically a little special manual that goes alongside the main build with some differences. So I wonder if they've changed the intakes actually. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Right, so the B1 kit, this is basically the instruction manual for that kit. So it starts off cockpit seat. The base of the seat is a bit too long, it needs to be shortened, so it's worth something worth looking at. You could actually get an aftermarket cockpit set for this, but I don't think it's any longer available, but you may actually find some around. I've done a review of it. Michael, oh, I'm sorry I've forgotten his surname. I've got the set here and I may well use it if I build this model. So we've basically got the pilot seat going together, and then we've got the bulkhead here with the fire extinguisher. That's the box for the gadget that goes up in the Astrodome, and then you've got an empty box there for a parachute. Now that makes this, in that respect, more accurate than the Border Models kit, because the Border Models kit doesn't have empty parachute holders. If the aircraft stood on the ground, they would be empty, they wouldn't be full. So unless the aircraft's been evacuated in an emergency. We have our rudder pedals here going together. If I remember rightly, one side is actually shorter than the other, so it needs to be extended or whatever. Maybe one side needs to be shortened, I can't remember, but they are different lengths and they should be the same. Instrument panel going together. Here you can see we've got all the equipment going together for the navigator. Now, worth remembering, check all your references if you're into accuracy. Not all of this equipment may have been in there. So, and the same here when you've got the where is it going in? Where's all the radio the gear going in here? I can't see it in there now. It'll come along in a minute. But basically you've got gear going up there. Here it is. Here you've got this gear going on top of there. So make sure you're correct, because if it hasn't got H2S, it won't have the H2S radio up on top of that pillar. This obviously doesn't have H2S, so it would only have the G radio there, the GEE radio. So or equipment, not radio. So building up the navigator's area here with the navigator seat going in. You've got the wireless operator seat is actually built into the floor. Got this pedestal here. This pedestal is actually too high. It needs to be lowered down. So go and have a look at other people's builds and you'll see what I mean. Again, you can get the aftermarket cockpit set and that sorts it all out for you. And here, as I say, with this addendum, you'll see that, like for example, it says when you open this up, this manual is used to build Grand Slam. Follow the main instructions of the Lancaster Mark 1 with the exceptions of the following steps. So make sure you make marks in your original instructions to refer back to this one. So we've got differences here in the pilot's seat. So and then you've got step 12, step 11. So make sure you mark out those sections in your main manual so you don't go wrong. So here we have more cockpit going together. You've got the engineer's panel on the side and everything going in there. And then coming up here, we've got the rest bed. Now, all of this is not included in the Border Models kit, so that one is not a full interior. We've got the back of the bomb bay here with the 3 lights in it, the 3 windows. That's actually incorrect for a B Mark 1 wartime, so you want to blank one of those off, blank off the middle one. Although it's not in the middle, it's the middle of the 3. Blank that one off, that's incorrect. And then here we got all our ammo chutes going. You've got ammo boxes there for the rear guns. Again, you don't get any of that in the border models kit, so it's nice to get it in here. We've got the inner sidewalls of the bomb bay going in there, and then we're coming on to the nose. We're adding some glazing, adding a little rail for the step going down. Got the top rail going into the fuselage there. The bomb aimer's equipment going into the right hand side. Again, check your references for what the Grand Slam had. And then here we've got more bomb. We've got the bomb sight going in there. Grand Slam didn't have that. Hopefully in the instructions they will tell you in here not to fit it. Let's have a look. Let's see if they've done their homework. Nope, they've got the bomb sight in there. The Grand Slam had a SABS, which is a great big, big bomb aiming sight, bomb aiming equipment, and it was fitted on the triangular brackets at the front that were strengthened. So have a look into that. You should be able to get something in the aftermarket. So here we are adding the adding more detail in there, adding all the windows into the fuselage. They're all separate, so you don't get those huge slabs of clear plastic, which is nice. And then bolting up the front and the rear fuselage halves. I would personally do that before you do any of the glazing or anything. And then if you have any sanding to do, you don't have to worry about having to cover up your glazing and that from being sanded or primed or whatever. We've got the later type flare rejector that going in there, so that would probably be correct for a Grand Slam if they had them. Not sure, again, check your references. And then we've got the nose turret going together. Obviously you don't need to build that. You've got the upper turret going together. Obviously you don't need to build that. And then you've got, here we've got the rear turret going together. I was trying to think which other turret it was. Rear turret going together, that's all going to be straightforward. Nice they've got photo etched shoots on these. The border models are all moulded plastic, but it still looks lovely. And then we've got the adding the teardrops or whatever to the canopy. Now this is one of the downfalls of this kit. The teardrops are separate parts you have to glue on, so it's probably best to use some X22 or something, like a clear varnish to hold them on. I'm not sure about the Grand Slam. I know the Dam Busters had teardrops on both sides. I'm not sure about the Grand Slam. Check your references to make sure you get it right. And then here we've got the bomb assembly, the cookie going together. Here we've got the bomb aimer's kneeling pad, his belts, and we've got the glaze piece going in the bottom. That piece is going to go up into there, fitting all the bombs, adding the tower rail to the back. Not sure about that bulge on the end. We've got a tail wheel here. It looks like we don't get an option to have an early type wheel, but I would imagine the Grand Slam would have had the anti-shimmy type. Engines going together. The engines are actually quite small to fit within the cowlings, so it's up to you whether you want to have them on display or not. Personally I won't, because the border models engines look a lot nicer. Radiators are actually incorrect for a Grand Slam. These are the later radiators, so something else worth looking into. And then just assembling all the engines in here. You can see here they're fitting the shrouds over the exhausts. That's actually not correct for the Grand Slam, but they will tell you different in the instructions. And then we've got the undercarriage bays going together, all of this going in, oil tanks going in and everything, telling you to remove bits and pieces. If you can have the undercarriage closed if you want to display it in flight, which is a nice touch. You don't actually get that option out of the box in the border model kit, but I'm sure it can be made to work. So there you go. Building up the undercarriage legs, there's a piece in there that needs to be taken out. This piece here, that's actually a support leg for aircraft that are being worked on or on display or whatever. That needs to be taken out. Adding the wing tips to the wings, there is a section that goes inside the wing. This piece here, K47, I would thoroughly recommend fitting that inside the wing before you do anything else. Okay, it makes life a lot easier. When you come to fit the tip to the wing, it's quite a challenge to get a real neat job. But at least with this one, you do have there is no stress skin effect, and it's all recessed rivets, so there's no worries about sanding it down and getting your detail back. The border model is all raised rivets, and it's a nightmare, and it's covered in stress skin. Flap internals going in there. Flaps, you can have them closed or open, which is nice. It's nice to see Lancs with their flaps open when they're stood on the ground. They quite often are. Not always, but often. And then we got our outboard engines here going onto our frames. This is a nice little touch if you want to do a dio with the aircraft being worked on. You don't get these frames in the border models kit, but you do in this one. And then adding all the intakes and everything. So this is all doing the same all over again, all your undercarriage and everything. and then again the other wing, building up the other wing half, adding the flaps, having the flaps up or down, go like that. Then we're into propeller assembly. So we've got, I think we get needle props and paddle props. We'll have a look in a minute on the sprues. And then we've got the rudders going together onto the fins, tailplanes going together. They've corrected the situation before where they had the tailplane halves were incorrectly moulded. That's all been sorted now. Inserts, you've got all movable surfaces, you've got little hinges there, so it's all movable. And then we've got the bomb doors. You can have the bomb bay doors closed should you wish, or you can have them open. And you've got the actuators there going on, and you've got the hinges you leave on. If you're going to have them closed, you obviously cut those hinges off. And that's it. So you've got the option of having the bomb bay doors closed or the bomb bay doors open. Adding the fairing for the upper turret, obviously we're not going to do that. We're going to use that blanking panel. Remember to fill and sand that all smooth. It is not a round panel that goes in, not shown in the Dam Busters book. It is actually a sort of oval shaped panel with the, it's round with the sides cut off, which makes it into like an oval sort of shape. And then here we've got the flight engineer's seat in the folded position. And then we've got the early pitot going here. Don't fit that. You don't want early pitot tube. You've got some sort of antenna and stuff going on down here. Not sure what they are. I don't think they're correct for a wartime aircraft. And the certainly the Grand Slam would have the later trailing aerial there. And then we're adding the turret and everything in. Nice to see with this one you can get the turret in afterwards. Then you've got the cap going on the top. That's the upper pivot for the turret. Window going on there, depending on which option you want to do. I believe the Grand Slams had window, so that is where they threw out the tin foil. And then the wings going on, they don't need to be glued, they will slot on, and there we are. So then we're on to sprue callouts. Okay, and here we've got the decals, whatever you want to call them, for the model, and you've got all the roundels and everything, and then all the stencils here. And then going over the page, we've got marking A, which is OLQ. Okay, and then marking B is P50S. They're both R5868. Okay, you can see they're both the same aircraft, but she took on the name POS later in the war. And depending on what period you want to build, and make sure you know what you're doing, because it changes. POS had a very long life, and a lot of it changed going through its life. So there we are. And then here we've got ARG, which is W4783, and I know that one would be correct with the windows in the side. So there we are. And then coming along here, we've got the addendum, which is the interesting bit. So this is the Grand Slam part of the build. So obviously we've got the seat going together as per the other one, but without the armoured headrest. So that's where we're cutting off those supports. We've got this rear section going in here together. I'm assuming this is depicting the early flare chute. We've got the tail gunner strips going in, which is going to be normal. This is all normal. We've got to remove some plastic from that panel there. It's not exactly showing where, it's just saying remove. So there's going to be a lot of dry fitting and cutting in that, but we'll cover that when we come to it. They're also telling us to remove this section here. And again, there's no sort of defined, we'll have a look on the kit parts, but there's no defined line as to where that should be removed. It's just a dark patch. So unless there's actually a line on the kit, it'd be difficult to know exactly where to remove it. Might be better to leave it till after it's all assembled, and or actually dummy build it all and then cut it out and fit the panel in there so you know it fits. We've got the compass going there. We've got the first aid box here. And here at the back here we've got the doors for the rear gunner, and then we've got the main spar for the rear tailplane with the crawl over bit. We've got the later chutes here. I would have thought it had the later chute. I don't know what that's all about, that there. I'll have to do some research. And then this is all going together here. So it's funny, they're showing that there, but it's not there. You've got the rear toilet there as well. And then here we've got the, yeah, you can see we've only got the teardrop on one side on this one. So we've also got another glaze panel going in there. Not quite sure why. Does the canopy have an open side to it? No, I'm not sure why they're telling us to add that part there. Did we add that part in the other kit? I'm not sure that we did. Oh yes, we did. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. So we're building up the Grand Slam. Got the fins going together here. Don't forget the fins will have a twist on them because the bomb's designed to spin. And then we've got the padding going in for the bomb aimer. We've got the later glazing going in here rather than the earlier type. So that'll be the only one I ever build with that, and it'll be the only one I ever build with a black nose interior. So there we go. And then we've got the engine covers going together, and the only reason they've put this in is because you're not fitting the flare. Somebody will tell me in the comments. I can't think what they're bloody called now. I'll remember as soon as I turn the camera off. There's the covers over the exhaust to stop the flame showing. Flame dampeners, I think they're called. And then here we've got the flight engineer seat going in. There's this belt going behind there, and then we've got the blanking panel going in the top of the turret. Got the blister going on here. There's as I said, there's the trailing aerial, which is the later type. The earlier ones had the trailing aerial back here. Don't make that mistake. Got the blank panel going on to replace the front turret. I'm not sure how well that was fared anywhere. I'll have to look at some photos. If you haven't already got it, the Wing Leader book on the Lancaster Specials is absolutely brilliant. I think it's number 15, I think. But it's absolutely brilliant and well worth having. And then here we've got the later paddle props going on, so we have got the paddle props in the kit. And there it is, all finished. Unfortunately, we don't get a trolley to put the bomb on, but we do get the sling with it in position. But if you want to get a trolley for this, what's their names? Iconic Air do a Grand Slam or a tall boy trolley, which would be the same for the Grand Slam. And then here we've got the additional decals. So we've got the tailplane decals there. We've got the actual fuselage decals there. We've got our registrations on the side, and then we've got some decals there for the Grand Slam bomb, the Torpex D1, and everything else is on the other decal sheet. So there we go. So that's that. We've got this lovely colour callouts on the back, and even though they've got AK on the box, they haven't sold their soul. You've still got Tamiya and Mr. Hobby callouts, which is really nice. And the RAF Dark Earth, they're giving you a mix here from Tamiya. That's interesting. So very, very nice. And where's their interior green? Interior green, XF71. No, it's too dark. No, do not use XF71, it's too dark. So there we go. So there's our instructions. What did surprise me here, guys, was this pack here. This is astounding. If you get the border model Dambuster Lancaster, you can build the B1 kit out of it, but you're going to have to buy aftermarket decals. But with Hong Kong models, you get a little sheet of photo etch with your belts and everything on. There's your window. There's your chutes there for the rear turret. Okay, so nice correct belts, but unfortunately they're brass. I'd rather have the cloth ones. I've actually asked HGW to do some Lancaster belts, so we'll see what they do. So this is our decal set. Notice down here, cartograph made in Italy. Yes. This is our decal set for the for YZJ, which is really nice. Now, unfortunately, I think they would have had those flashes on the underside as well, so you may from these be able to make yourself some masks. I've got a feeling on the underside the Z is painted on backwards. I'll have to look into that. And then here is the decal sheet, so you can build the B1. So not only have they given you all the plastic parts and the instructions and the bombs and everything to do the B1, he's also given you the full decal sheet. Again, it's cartographed, so it's going to be lovely. So that's really good. Thank you very much, Neil. That's really kind. As I say, border model haven't done that. So if you want to build a B1 model, you have to get aftermarket decals because you don't have that option. Well, you could get masks. But you don't have that option. And then here we have, again, cartograph made in Italy. We have our RAF roundels for the wings. We have the roundels for the sides of the fuselage. Fin flashes. There's the big square to mark out the dinghy patch. And then here we got all our stencils. Walk forward of this line, fit jacking pad here. We've got the black and the red stripes and everything. I'm sure you'd want to paint those rather than use the decals. But these are cartograph and beautifully in register. Nice glossy finish. no real carrier. You can see on the edge of that round one, there's no real carrier film at all. So yeah, lovely. They'll go down like a dream. But, personally, I would prefer to use the one-man army mass set. But if you're on a budget, you may not be able to run to that, so you'll make do with what you've got here. So there we go. Right, so we'll get this put away and we'll have a look at some plastic. Okay, so starting off here with the Y sprue, we actually get 4 of these, as you can see, and this is obviously all the engine. So obviously you have the block halves here, the sump as your drives for your cams, supercharger there, intake, got the reduction gear on the front, that's the back of the engine there. Cam covers, no Rolls-Royce logo on them, they often didn't have that. The radiators here, which are actually incorrect for this era. All the exhausts here are separate moulded pieces, which means you're going to have to build up the engine just to get something to mount your exhausts on, I believe. And then we have here, we can see the exhausts are slide moulded. They're not very deep, but they are opened up. They have a feature on them rather than just being blank. And you've got all the weld detail on there as well. So very nicely done. You can see on there the weld detail. And obviously on this model, if you're building it as a Grand Slam, they're going to be exposed. If you build it as a B1, they're all covered up anyway. But there we go. They're not the best 30-second scale Merlin engine on the market, but it's a Merlin engine. You know, everyone moans about the Qatari not having engines. This has got 4 of them. So there you go. Fill your boots. So there we are. So there's your that's your Y sprue, and then here we have our W sprue. And these are this is the ammo tracks going to the back for the tail gunner. You can see all the ammo in there, so that's going to be visible if you have the rear door open. And then here we've got our rear ammo boxes, again bit missing from the Border Models kit. Rear doors, which are shut behind the rear turret. Got the later flare chute there. This is the support for the bed, and this is the bed here. The rest bed. Either that or for people injured or whatever, I don't know. There's your first aid box there, which is very nicely done with some raised rivet detail on there, you can see. We've got the secondary spar there and the main spar going across, and then here we have the this is the cover for the spar on the tail plane, and that's the leather pad for the tail gunner to climb over. There we've got, I think they're trying to depict a parachute there, I'm not sure what that is. And then we've got some hydraulic pumps here going midway down the fuselage, again not sure what they are. That's the backrest for the bed for the person that's not very well or whatever. And then this here, I don't have a clue what that is, I'll have to look into it. I have a feeling here they're trying to depict an early flare, but don't take my word for it. And then this here is the compass, which goes up in the back, and there's the guard that goes just up inside the front door, the rear door, so you're never going to see it, but it's there if you want it. There is also a crew ladder hanging up in there, but I don't think that's in the kit. So that's sprue W. And then here we have, this is sprue T, and this is all to do with the upper mid turret. So we've got the frame going over the top there, we've got the frame going around the bottom. Here's the sides for our ammo breeches, there's our ammo boxes there. Got the breeches for the guns, the barrels themselves, again slide moulded with hollow ends. If there's one thing you buy for this kit, or 2 things, one is a masking set, 2 is the barrels from Master. And if you are building it as a Grand Slam, you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to get 8 barrels in the set. You're only going to use 4 for the tail turret, so you'll have 4 left. So if you've got a nose art, you can use them on that. So yeah, you can build 2 models with 1 set of gun barrels. There's the seat there for the upper mid gunner, and there's the control panel. It's very simple in comparison to the Border Models kit, but we have to bear in mind the cost. This model is you know, it's 200. It's less than half the price of the Border Models kit, but also it's a lot easier to build. This is far more simple to build. There's a lot of tiny little parts in the Border Models kit that need a lot of cleanup, and the instructions don't help you along the way at all. So bear that in mind. You know, when people knock this model, I've knocked this model in myself in the past, but this, as I said in my review of the Border Models down by Lancaster I did before Christmas, if you're thinking about buying somebody, you know, somebody in the family, a 32nd scale Lancaster, and they're not a big modeler, they've built a few kits, but they're not a big modeler, get this, don't get the border models. They will really struggle with that kit. But this, they shouldn't struggle too much at all. There's a lot to it, but if you take it step by step, it's just a lot of little models that all come together in the end. So I'll get those bagged back up, and then we'll get another couple of sprues unbagged and have a look at them. Okay, just one thing I want to say, guys, as I'm going through this, as I told you at the beginning, this model is reduced to 273 quid, down from 409 over at Hannants in the UK. 24 hours ago they had 30 or 29, now they've got 9. And I know that Hannants, if they've got 9 left, you won't get 9 at that price. There'll be like another 5 or something, or another 4 at that price. So if you are thinking about getting one of these, and you might want to get over there now. Right now it is 4:15 on the 4th of January 2024. So get on over there quick if you really are interested in one, because they won't be there for long. I mean, this morning there was like 18, I think. There's only 9 now. So here we have sprue E, and I'm not trying to sell this for Hannants. I'm just trying to get you guys a cheap kit. I've bought this kit from Hannants. I've paid the price for it. They haven't given it to me. They haven't asked me to promote it or anything. So there we go. So this is all our engine bearers, which is very, very nice indeed. And we've got the bearers here going back in behind the nacelle around the engine. So, you know, for a dyno that you want to do all exposed with all the covers off or whatever, this is really great. You don't get this in the border models kit. As complete as it is, you don't get it. And they've got all the oil tanks and everything here. There's 2 of these, but obviously they're left and right, so they're not exactly the same. It won't be 2 sprue E's. It's sprue E and sprue F, as you can see there. I want to make sure I get them back packaged the same way back in their bag. And then here we have, okay, there's a lot going on here. We have a wingtip, okay. This here is not correct for this period of aircraft, so you might want to just sand all that off, the formation lights. So again, check your references. And then we've got some flap detail here. So this is the lower section of the wing with and this is the bit that goes on the back. I thought they were on the sprue, they're not. You've got the fairing that comes out the back of the nacelle on the outboard engines. Sorry, the inboard engines, and that's where that goes on there. It sort of goes up in. And then you've got the interior detail for the flaps. Unfortunately, they're full of ejector pin marks. So if you want to have your flaps open, Edward do a nice set that you can add to get that all looking good. But there you go. And then you've got the, I think that's the aileron section there. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to, I can't remember. I haven't ever built one of these wings fully up. So there's your rear, the nacelles there for the outboard engines, and then we've got the wheel covers there for the wheelbase. So as you can see, it's all recessed riveting, no stress skin, all nice and easy to work with and repair. And then here is your wingtip. As I say, this needs some very careful assembly to get a nice join on there, because as you can see here, you can see it's slightly going in instead of being the right shape. It's slightly squeezed in the middle. So you need to get some packing in there and pack it out, get everything packed out so it's just sitting there perfect, and then run the extra thin round and leave it. You don't want any glue oozing out, because that is actually a panel line. So yeah, it's quite tricky getting that to fit nice, but if you take your time and you really concentrate, it will go together beautifully. And then here we have, this is sprue G, and basically it's the same again but for the other side. So again, I'll get these bagged up and then I'll be back. Right, so cookie. Cleverly done this. You've got 2 sprues exactly the same, but you obviously don't have mounts on both sides, so you only drill one side, and then this pin and that pin goes through to mount it up into the bomb bay. So very simple, but at the end of the day it's a cookie. You can shove it in the middle of your bomb bay and everyone will know exactly what it is. They've just called it RAF bomb on here, look. So there's that. So we've got 2 of those obviously, and then we have 1, 2, 3, we have no less than 5 of these sprues, and these are your bombs. So we've got a simplified sort of propeller on the front got the ring going around the back. I believe Edward do an aftermarket set for this, so you could dress these bombs up and make them look lovely. But they also do a bomb bay and everything as well. So there you go. So that's those. There's 5 of those in there. So that's all very nice. And then here we have a pair. Obviously they're the same, but they're left and right, so they're not exactly the same. But there's that rear fairing for the outboard engine, or the inboard engine, where the flaps fold up and down. And then here we have our engine intakes. These are the lower sections of the engine with the air outlet and everything. And then we have our side covers here for the engine, and then these are our upper covers. Now the thing that's wrong here, they've got the kick in the engine cover there, which shouldn't be there. And they've also got the front here is wider than the outboard. So the inboard and the outboard engines intakes, these parts should be exactly the same. But as you can see, this one is fatter than that one. So that one's slightly too skinny and that one's slightly too fat. So there you go. I used to make resin ones, I don't do them anymore. But I used to make resins to replace all these. But there you go. So that's that. If you want to correct this, just remove some material, add some material, slit that and widen it out a touch. I don't know, but yeah. But as I say, once it's built, if I think of it, I'll put a picture up now. You can have a nice look at. I'll leave it there for a while, but you can see that aircraft there. That's a built Hong Kong models, pretty much out of the box, I think, on a display, and it's got a Heinkel 219 underneath it, firing its shrap music up into its belly. So very clever, if not very nice diorama, but it's a diorama. There we go. So you can see there's also an issue here. These are incorrect. They should be cut off and filled or whatever. I can't remember now. But obviously what Hong Kong models did, they the same as they've done with the A20, they've used an aircraft to scan and reference from, and obviously the aircraft they've used is not right, because these engine covers, I believe the Mark 7s have that kick in them, and I don't think, well, I know that the Mark 1s and everything didn't, the early war ones didn't. So once again, back in a minute. Okay, pushing on some more, we've got sprue S here. This is obviously our rear turret. You can see we've got the holes in there for the 4 guns. Got the control levers there. Again, simplified compared to the Border Models kit, but much easier to build. I can say from experience that rear turret on the Border Models kit is very fiddly to get together, really fiddly. This could be built by an average modeler, you know. So no problem at all, but we've got all the detail in there. And this is all painted black inside anyway for this period of time, and so you're not really going to see a lot of it. Just give it paint it black or very dark grey and give it a dry brushing of black or something, and it will look lovely. So there's the upper face. Unfortunately that's the one with all the ejector pin marks in, so you have to deal with them, but that's not a big thing. And you know, replace your gun barrels again, and you'll be laughing. They'll look absolutely lovely. All done. So that's, as I say, that's sprue S. So that's very nice. And then this one here, this is sprue X. And we have a lot of interior detail here. So there's the back of our main spar, with all the tanks and everything. And it looks like a tier in there. It's a hydraulic oil tank. There's our table for the navigator and the wireless operator. You can see there. And there's the ramp there for the fish pond, so you might want to get rid of that because it wouldn't have it in there on this particular model, unless they had some other type of radio there, I'm not sure. There's the bulkhead there going forward, and again you've got ejector pin marks all in here, and I've got a feeling this is the forward side, so this is the side you're going to see. Yes, it is. This is under the table hidden, and this is the side you're going to see. So again, ejector pin marks to deal with, and if I were you, I'd give it a good old, you know, plywood effect and get some rubbing going on and stuff. Got the seat there for the navigator, the other side of the tier going on there, and then here we've got our radio. This is our H2S, well that's our G I think, and that's the H2S, and then we've got all the equipment here going along underneath. There's no, that's G I think, and there's all the equipment going underneath the table, and then we've got our I keep forgetting the name of it, someone will tell me. It goes up in the Astrodome, and then we've got some oxygenizers here. And there's the support for the navigator's table. We've got a control panel there which sits just to the right of the wireless operator, and then this one here, I believe that goes in front of the navigator. And then there's the bulkhead between the two, and there's the 1154 and the 1155 radios for the wireless operator. They can be seen through the side windows, so it is worth detailing them up. So yeah, very nice indeed. I didn't notice on the decal sheet, do we get decals for them? I didn't notice. Do we have decals for all the interior? Wrong manual note. It doesn't look that way, does it? It doesn't look like we've got decals for any of it. So, bit of painting, aftermarket. You can get the Edward aftermarket set, and you can also get the Airscale aftermarket set for this, which is beautiful. It's all these panels on here and everything, and the instrument panel itself, and you get all the separate throttle levers, which look absolutely gorgeous. I've done a build of it. Go and have a look back on the channel. I've done the Airscale cockpit set. So here we have the sides of the pilot seat. As I say, the base of the seat is too long; it needs to be shortened. But that's, you know, that's not beyond the realms of man. We've got the upper sills there for the cockpit. We've got the pitot tube here. Got armrests for the seats. We've got later pitot tubes there. And then there's the Rebecca antenna, which you're not going to use on here. We've got a control wheel. The cockpit in this is very simplified in comparison to the border model. Very simplified. So it needs something to sort of pep it up a bit. Or you might just be happy with it as it is. It's entirely up to you. As I say, there is a complete aftermarket set. I've done a review of it. If I think of it, I'll put a link down below to it. But I don't think it's available anymore. The other thing you could do, if you really want to get one of these, and you really want to go to town on it, look out for a bargain basement buy. I think Jadlam were doing them for 85 quid a while ago. The border model's nose section, just the nose section, and use all the interior from that in this. And you won't have to buy any aftermarket or anything that. You can use everything out of the box. So if you think about the aftermarket, if you buy the resin cockpit set, you know, and then you need to buy, because it only has a flat panel, you need to buy aftermarket instruments for the instrument panel, you know, and then you're going to look at getting seat belts and everything. With the border model nose, you won't have to buy anything else other than that kit. You then will also have the taller astrodome that you need for this model, and you will also have the more correct border model glazing. We'll cover the HK model ones in a minute when I go through it, but there's a couple of little bits and pieces wrong with it. But yeah, so you know, that would be a good upgrade for this kit. Just go and buy that nose art, and fit it all in there, and it'll go in there, I'm sure. Something I'll have to have a look at. But I think the actual nose on here is slightly wider where it goes around under the turret, but you're not going to be able to see up in there anyway, especially on this one. So there we go. But yeah, that is an option for you to consider. Somebody asked if you could buy the complete border model nose set and stick it on the rest of this fuselage. That would all be well and good, but the trouble is you've got then the textured skin of the nose and all the raised riveting of the nose compared to the non-textured skin. It would look a bit silly, I think, unless you could texture the rest of this and give it raised rivets. It would be a cheap way of getting yourself a border model standard kit, I tell you. So rudder pedals here. It actually looks like this might be an addition. It looks like, this is what I mean about Hong Kong models. They really do listen. I'm going to grab my rule. It looks like they've changed things here. That's 20mm from the pivot to the centre of that pedal. And that's 20mm from the pivot to the centre of that pedal. I'm going to have a look at my other kit in a minute. I'm absolutely positive that this kit had one lot of rudder pedals shorter than the others. And it looks like they've extended them. I just want to check that again. That's amazing if they have. 20mm. 21mm. It was more different than that. I seem to remember they were quite a lot different. Anyway, there's the handrail for going down into the front. You've got the upper control column there. Got the bit coming off the side. You can cut that off. You don't need that on this one. You've got the trailing aerial there, which is the later type. Control wheel. Got the panel there, which sits up to the left-hand side of the pilot. some detail for in the nose. There's your bomb mirror's computer. You won't have that in this one. There's your camera. You won't have that in this one. Although you actually probably would have a camera in this one. And then you've got the two options. This is the earlier type with the flat windscreen, the flat screen for the bomb aimer, and this is the oval screen for the bomb aimer. So there you go. And there's the escape hatch for underneath the belly. Very nice indeed. All very nice. There's the back of the pilot's seat. All looking lovely. And then finally, I know we've looked at this already, haven't we? So yeah, I'll get these put away, and then we'll come back. I'm going to check out this rudder pedal situation. Hey guys, here you go. If you remember, in my roundup, when I did my review, I gave Hong Kong Models top points for listening to the customers, and this is the sort of thing I'm talking about. Now, not only when the original B1 kit came out, the tailplanes there was a mistake and you had to mess around and make the pins fit. They changed that, but also, like I just said to you, with these rudder pedals, this is the sprue from the original kit, and you can see this rudder pedal here. Where are we? These rudder pedals here are 16mm centre to centre, and these are about 14. Remember I said they're too short? You can see here they've extended them. So if you look here, if you compare those two sprues in their bags, you can see the changes they've made. They've made, this is the new and this is the old. And then here down here we've got, this is the new, this is the old. They've actually listened and made changes to the tooling to help us out. Unfortunately, they haven't changed the base of the seat by the look of it. Actually, they may have done, you know. That's 13mm. Yeah, it's still the same. The base of the seat could do with being a bit shorter. But, you know, fantastic. Well done, Neil. Thank you very much. They've also, for some reason, on the old kit here, you've got sprue P, okay, which is this great big thing here. And then sprue P now is there. And then that bit is there. And then this here is sprue Q. So, strange they've done that. We'll have to see where these parts are. Those parts are on another sprue over here. And again, that is sprue P. So obviously they've left everything, they've just made separate sprues. So for some unknown reason, maybe they had issues with the moulding. But there we go. So the old kit versus the new. There you are. Well done, Neil, and thank you very much. Right, I'm going to get some more sprues unbagged and we'll look at some more of this kit. So, here we have sprue P again. This is obviously all part of, on the original kit, this is all part of one sprue. And we've got the main cockpit floor. We've got the instrument panel there, which as you can see is very nicely moulded. Perfectly adequate. Get some aftermarket decals to go on there, or get yourself the airscale set, which is really, really nice. You have the engineer's panel here. Now this one is larger than the one in the border models, so one of them is incorrect. Maybe they're both incorrect, but this one is larger. Makes it nicer to see inside, but it is larger, but it's got all that lovely raised detail on there ready for you to paint and everything. Or again, get the Edward set, file all that off and have the Edward decals to it, Edward detail to it. You can also get a Quintus Studio cockpit set for it as well, so the choice is yours. You've got the rear part of the front turret there. Obviously in this kit you're not going to use it, although I think that part you are. I think that part actually slots into the nose of the fuselage, gives it some rigidity, sort of sits behind the turret if you like. There's your front of your bomb bay. There's the pivot cap, the bearing cap that goes over the front turret. I don't think that's going to be used on this kit. Is it? Does it have a cap on it? No, there's nothing there. So I'm guessing you just fill in the cover wherever that goes. Or maybe there isn't any cover where it goes. Cockpit floor, I've noticed one thing. As I said in the beginning when I did my review, when I did talk about the instructions, I said the pedestal is too high. Once again, here's the old kit. You can see on here, this pedestal, I think is about 5mm of difference. This pedestal is 17mm. This one is 11mm. So once again, you can see they've listened and made changes to the kit accordingly. Now, one thing I do know, and I'm not going to be able to check that now because I'm running out of time here, but on the original kit, the armoured headrest for the pilot seat was raised. It was lowered, sorry, to let it fit in the canopy. So I'm not sure if on this one, where they've modified that, if they've raised the armour. I'll have a look and I'll let you know before the end of the video. But it's certainly nice to see manufacturers reacting to issues. It was me that brought this up. If I think of it, I'll show you a picture now. I did a beautiful, very highly detailed cockpit seat and everything by a lot of scratch building, and ended up selling that model to Ollie unfinished. I don't know if he ever finished it. Not heard from him since, but there we go. So yeah, nice to see the manufacturers are listening. And then here we've got the forward section of the bomb bay. This is one of the kit's biggest downfalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Can we get to 50? 49, 50, 51. 51 ejector pin marks in there. There you go. And some of them are down in there and they're a nightmare to get to, which makes them suit this kit beautifully because all of that gets covered up. So that's good. That's good to know. And then following on from that, this is the rear section of the bomb bay. So you can see there again, absolutely plastered in ejector pin marks, but hey ho. You can actually get an Edward panel that goes on here that covers a lot of this up, but I'll show you that in a minute. And then here's the inner side walls of the bomb bay, and you can see they've got ejector pin marks all on here which have to go as well. But it's ejector pin mark city. It's quite difficult, but you know, at the end of the day you'll get there. We've got raised rivet detail on the inside of the bomb doors, okay, but again we've got ejector pin marks in there. And then here's that rear panel for the with the windows to inspect all the bomb loads been dropped. That one there needs to be filled. We've got the early type trailing aerial there. By the look of it, there's that, I don't know where that's from. Got the tail wheel there. The tail wheel itself with the shimmy tyre, which would be right for this one, but not for an early B1. And we've got this side intake scoop here, which you'll see fitted to a lot of later Lancs. I think Jess Jane's got it. And I think it's for an air conditioner or something. And there's a belly panel there. I wonder what that's for. Oh, that's the door. That's the main fuselage door, sorry. I was thinking that was on the belly. But no, that's the main fuselage door. Again, we've got rivets all around there, but it's actually made of plywood. So it certainly was in wartime anyway. So there we are. So that's another couple of sprues. There's our first big one. I'm going to go and look at that headrest situation, the armour plate situation. Oh, the other thing in here, we've got the towel rail that goes on here. I don't know what this big bulb is all about. I don't know why they've got that on there. They've got it on the 48th as well, but it shouldn't be there. Okay, so moving on. I've had a look. Unfortunately, the armour plating that goes on top of the seat is there, okay, and it's the same size now as it was before. So they've lowered the floor but left the armour plate the same height. So you just have to make another one out of a piece of plastic card. That's absolute doddle. As I say, my picture's there. You can have a look at that and copy that. So here we have a second big sprue. We've got our great big wheels and tyres here. They are actually incorrect for a Grand Slam, but they're absolutely fine for a B1, B3. We've got our spinners there with little nipples on the front. I'm not sure if they should be there or not. Obviously the main undercarriage bay with all your support inside and everything. We have our shrouds for the exhausts. Here we have, I think these are parts of the flaps. I'm not sure now, I can't remember. These here are the upper landing gear bays. It's nice to see the ejector pin marks are on the back. You've got that piece there, that's the actual, that's going to glue into the wing, and then this piece here is what's going to slot onto your fuselage. You basically push it on and then push your wing back to lock it in place. There's your main bulkhead for your engines, air intakes there for the sides of the engines, and then we've got lots of little bits and pieces of greeblies, air intakes there. They should be like a mesh. You can actually get the Edward aftermarket set for this to replicate those meshes there. That's that inner piece that needs to go in the wing first. That's what gives the wing its it stops it being crushed, and then this actually stops the inner part of the wing being crushed. So there we go. So yeah, all very nice. Got the bulkhead there with the fire extinguishers on. As I say, it's not as detailed as the border model kit, but look at the price. It's you know, and it's an easier build, as I keep saying. So there's the other side. So basically they're a sort of mirror image of each other. And then here we have our tail planes, and we can see here that they've corrected it. We've now got the pins on the two upper sections, and we don't have pins on the two lower sections. It used to be they had pins on those two and not on those two, so you had to basically, I've done a video about it, you can go back and have a look if you've got the older kit. It's quite an easy conversion. So we've got our fins here, we've got our rudders there, we have our tail planes and our elevators there. These are actually metal, these elevators. They should be on an earlier aircraft, they should be fabric. Check your model out and see what it should have. But there you go. So, but again, the riveting detail that's there is beautiful. It's sublime. Hong Kong Models moulding is very, very nice indeed. But you know, it's a shame it hasn't got stress skin. But at the same count, if you want to fill those windows in, it's a godsend that it hasn't got stress skin. Moving on, we have sprue R, and this is our undercarriage. There's a lot in this kit, isn't there? This is our undercarriage, and as you can see, this piece here, that piece there needs to be removed. That is, it's like it'd be painted red. It's like a bar they put in to lock the undercarriage in position. If you look at aircraft that are in storage or under heavy maintenance, they'll have those in, but actually stood in the airfield, they wouldn't have them on. But very, very strong. I don't personally think there's any need for metal undercarriage on this model, as there isn't on the border model either. It doesn't need it. If you want to get metal undercarriage, get the aircraft stuff. Don't get the scale aircraft conversion stuff, the white metal, because it's just not. You may as well have this. I mean, the detail's absolutely fine on there. You could open up those where that rod goes in. That should be hollow in there, but you know, it's absolutely fine as it is. If you are doing a ground slam, it should have heavy duty undercarriage. I'm not sure if everything should just be bigger or what, but it's something I'll look into. But I think it's the same design, it's just everything should be slightly fatter. Will it notice on your model? Who knows? A lot of it's covered up with the undercarriage doors, so that's a blessing. The other thing I've noticed with this model, I don't know if you have, there's no heavy seam lines, there's no flash, and there's not a single piece off the sprues. Not a single part. So that really says something for the packaging, doesn't it, compared to what it used to be. If you look back at my review, my initial review of the Hong Kong Models Lancaster, I was really disappointed with the packaging. Here we have a couple of small sprues. So this little one here, this is sprue V, and that's all your little counterbalances for your ailerons and rudder and this, that and the other. And then we've got control horns. That one there is for the trim tab. I think it is on the ailerons, on the wings, and it actually it kind of counteracts. It makes the what it does. This is fixed to the wing, and that is fixed, or vice versa. That's fixed to the wing, and that's fixed to the trim tab. And what it does, as they move the aileron down, the trim tab goes up, which helps the pilot push the aileron down. It's a fantastic design, really, really clever. And I think these are the little hinges and that for the rudders and stuff. These little bits here. But you can see lots and lots of little greeblies on there. So that's their fine sprue. Okay, and then here we have this is the fairing for the upper turret if it's fitted. Obviously we're not having that. We're fitting this. If you fit this, fill in that seam. Do not leave that as a seam. That is not how they blank them off. As I said before, they don't blank them off like that. That's that. And then also we have a fuselage half here. This is this is obviously the nose of the port side, and as you can see, very, very crisp moulding, lovely detail on there, and it's really, really nice. You've got lovely detail inside. The only thing is now that that floor has been corrected, what you will have here, you can see that fits in there into that recess. What you'll have now is a gap here, so you might want to remove some plastic from there. You'll see in the photograph I put up, you'll see that I've done it on there. So might be an idea to get that, you know, get that detail on there. There's also a lot of detail that could be added back here with pipes and everything. But as I say, you know, if you want to spend an extra few quid and go to town, get the Border Models Lancaster nose and perhaps use the interior. See if it. Maybe I'll give it a go. See if it can be done. I'm sure it can be done because I know the models size for size are practically identical. They are both very, very accurate dimensionally. You could almost use, because somebody asked me if they could use the Iconic Air Dam Buster kit for this and use that on the Border Models kit, and the only difference was I think this was slightly more radius. I think the Border Models one sort of comes out a bit more square than this one. I think it's more rounded. So I'm not sure which is the more accurate, but obviously one of them is. But there we go. So so that's that. I'll make sure I don't put that fuselage, that cockpit floor in with these. So we've got a couple of bits here I'm not going to bother getting out of the bags. These are our paddle blade and our needle props. So you see we've got the choice there. We've got the needle props there. This one would have had paddle blades. If you do a dam buster, it would have had needle props. Other than that, check your references. But basically, I was asking Chris the other night. Chris is a friend of mine, and he was saying that this was a 1944 thing, the paddle props. So I was led to believe that you could tell a B3 because it had paddle prop blades. No, that's what I was. This is the trouble. You see, these rumours start, and people tell other people, and it becomes fact, and it's actually absolute rubbish. A B3 could have a needle or paddle prop blades, depending on when it was made. So there we go. And then this one here is our final one out of our little ones out the box. And this, I don't think this is actually called up in the instructions. I've had a look and I can't see them there. If you remember, I said I think you have to make all the engines up to actually display, to actually get the exhausts on there. But it looks like these panels here go inside the cowlings, or inside the fairings, and then you put these exhausts into there, and then you don't have to bother building up the engines. Because on the other ones, they've got the, it's right at the bottom of that pile, I'm not going to get it out now. But on the other ones, they've got the slot in there to go over the exhaust so you can remove the panels. So it looks like that's what that is. So that's a nice little thought. In here, we have, in the bottom of the box, a beautiful poster, which is a Hong Kong model straight now. I've got the A20 on the wall right there. And I'm going to add this one to it. So if you haven't seen my A20, I'm currently building an A20G Hong Kong models. Still working on the interior. It's by far the best kit they've ever produced. They've really gone to town on their accuracy and stuff. And then here we have our fuselage halves. Now I'm going to have a look at this one, and this looks really good. And this one looks really good. So it looks like Neil has really made some changes. It's really refreshing to see manufacturers listening to the customers. I think he's making some changes to the A20 because he does seem to listen to what I say and take it on board. But looking at this fuselage half here, straight away you can see the downside is we've got all these windows, which are not correct for a ground slam. They need to be filled in. More about that in a second. But also on the earlier kits, you'll see in reviews there were issues. There's a mould seam here, I think it is. And that mould seam is there so that it can be slide molded, so that we can get the rivet detail all the way over the top. If we didn't have the slide molding, you wouldn't have the mould seam, but the rivet detail would run out. So, you know, top marks for getting the rivet detail there. Unfortunately, one of the issues was they had oozage where the damage on the corner of the moulds, but they've sorted it. It looks like Hong Kong model has sorted it. You can just see in that panel line there, if you look just in front of my finger, you can just see there's a slight imperfection in that panel line. But that'll be like with a scriber done. So yeah, very, very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. And if you are doing the ground slam, sand that off. Well, you're going to be cutting this out anyway. Something we were going to look at, yes, we do have the cutouts. So you can see we got the cutouts there. So it's telling us where to cut it out. It looked like in the instructions it wasn't clear how it had to be cut out, but you can see now that it is. So that's there, so you can do the ground slam. So very nice indeed. Talking about the windows, before we start looking at the rest of the sprues, here's my kit here, and I can feel then that there, what's happening is it's moving, it's all shrinking and stuff. And that's why I've done it so early. But basically what I've done is put the windows in and then gone over them with super glue and stuff and sanded them all in, and just being very, very careful not to get the filler into the rivets. you can see this is easy to do. That one there stays, this one goes. You can see this is easy to do because because it has no stress skin. There we go. And then you can see that panel in the top there, that's not glued in yet, but that's where it's going to go, and that will all be sanded and blended in as well. So, and you can see in here I've added the detail on the sidewall, battery pen there. So as you can see, we've got all the detail in there. So very, very nice indeed, and it's nothing much to add at all. And then when the floor goes in, you'll be able to see that because of the lowered floor. But and there's the Edward set for the Bombay. You can see I've got rid of all those ejector bin marks. Whenever there's a black mark, there's an ejector bin mark. This is the Edward Bombay, so you can see that there. How that looks. It replaces this panel in the centre, and you get that nice thin sheet metal effect because it is actually thin sheet metal. So there we go. And there's also panels to go on the ends as well, so that improves the look of the Bombay overall. So there we go. Right, back to the kit in hand. Now the clear parts are beautifully packaged in this cardboard sleeve as we saw earlier, and as with all Hong Kong model clear parts, they are absolutely stunning, which is quite a refreshing surprise from the border models kit, which everyone knows the clear parts on that weren't that nice. So here we have a beautiful, you can see a very, very clear nose turret indeed. This is the back of the nose turret. I don't know why they've moulded it in clear, but they have. And then you've got the two different blisters here. So you've got the deep and the shallow. Unfortunately, the deep has the, you only get the deep with the what's it called now? Yeah, you know what I mean. The Z, I think it's Z. It's basically to identify friends and foes. You can see that's lovely on there. Okay, unfortunately it's got the holes in it, and they're there. So I think we'd need to rob one out of the border models kit if you want a deep one without the holes in. There's one of the teardrops that goes in the side that sort of lets the canopy down slightly, having that to glue on. Oh, there are holes there. I wondered why they had separate panels to go in, but there are holes, so you can have the windows slid back should you wish. And then there's your three identification lights underneath, and there's the lens for the camera. We've got the side windows there for the navigator with a wireless operator on the other side of him. Another teardrop there for the canopy, and there's the glazing for the nose there. So this is obviously designed to be the sprue for the nose, because Hong Kong models also do just a nose piece. So there's the two windows there, and then over here we've got another sprue. I won't get this one out, but that's your main upper turret glazing, again protected by that film. We've got the two escape hatches in the top of the fuselage. We've got all our windows going down the side of the fuselage, and here we've got our H2S cover, and again we've got those three formation lights, and we've got the more side windows there. So all in all, oh no, that's for the Bombay. That'll be for the Bombay, those three there. So there we are. Final note on there, it's also worth noting that on the Grand Slam, the rear turret, in fact, yeah, I'm saying this about the nose, the rear turret part is on here. The rear turret was, the perspex was completely cut away. Basically, there was hardly anything left of it, so that's worth bearing in mind. So they will go, that will slot up in there like that. So you put that H2S up inside the canopy, and then they will slide in there like that, beautifully, even on the same parallelogram kind of angle. We've got wings here. Now I'm going to use my wings to show you for a couple of reasons. There's something I want to show you here. We've got the Grand Slam sprue to look at. We're saving that till last. So the wings that come in the kit are well protected with these cardboard sleeves and everything. So they're very well protected, and I think one of the problems is this very thin, you can see this trailing edge is very thin, so obviously they were getting damaged. So Neil has reacted with this cardboard. I notice he's done the same on the B17 with the tail fin. So yeah, very thoughtfully done, so thank you for that, Neil. So these wings, I'm not going to get these out of the packaging because it seems pointless when I've got these here already out of the packaging. There is an issue with them, okay, and I don't know if Neil has corrected it. No, he hasn't. These are the landing lights. Now for a 32nd scale kit, just having those recessed marks there, I think is pretty poor. They should really have lenses in there. I mean, the 1/72nd scale kits have got lenses in there, but he's also got them, and they've got them in both wings. So you need to basically fill those up. So where those circle marks are here, okay, fill those in with super glue or something, mask off all the rivet detail, fill those in, sand them smooth, so you end up with flat sheets of plastic, and then replace the riveting. You can see I haven't done the riveting on here yet, but you can see that I've actually got rid of those circles. If I give that a very light sand, you should be able to see the circles underneath. You can just make them out on there. You could just make out the two circles. So they need to be got rid of, so you don't have the landing lights in the starboard wing. Again, when it comes to the here, this is the dinghy panel. This panel here lifts out so they can get to the dinghy in the event of a crash in water. They've also got one on the port side wing, and there shouldn't be one, so there should be no dinghy panel in the port side wing, but you have the lights, and there should be no lights in the starboard wing, but you have the dinghy panel. So that, again, that needs to be filled, and then you can see I've redone the riveting on there. I'll give that a very light sand. You should see the white dust in all the rivets. So it's not too much of a job, it's not too difficult. So there you go. Just going to clean that sanding dust out of there. There we go, out of that one, out of that one. So that's a little job that needs to be done. So it's, you know, it's all good for your skills, it's good to practice on. And then finally, have a look here, we have the special sprue that makes the Grand Slam. And this is some big old boy, this is. So this is obviously the Grand Slam itself, and then here are the fins, and these are the inner parts of the fins that are going to fit into the actual fuselage of the bomb. Now I'm hoping, yes they have. I saw these slots were straight, and I was thinking, no, don't say the slots are straight, but the fins are straight. But you can see they've got the tabs on an angle. So basically the fins have to sit at an angle because it was designed to fall and spin and then bury itself in the ground, and then boom. Go and have a look at some videos on Grand Slam, you'll be amazed. So this here is the panel that goes underneath, and I was looking and thinking this needs some riveting, but it's got all raised rivet detail on here, which is going to look a little odd around here with the rest of the model because it's all recessed riveting. But that's going to fit underneath your model. So we've got a fuselage here. You can see you have to cut a section away back here. And actually on the earlier kits, I'm just looking there, you know, on that few I just showed you, they have the cutout here marked out for you to cut out. They don't have that on the earlier kits. So if you're going to convert an old kit into a Grand Slam, you're going to have to measure it up yourself. But basically that is going to fit in there like that and cover up the complete bomb bay, as you can see. And so all of those ejector pin marks in the bomb bay and everything don't matter. You can leave them. So that's cool. So there we are. So that's lovely. You've got these are the carriers that go up into the bomb bay roof, up into here. And then this chain, it's like a chain link thing, actually winds up and pulls the bomb close up into the belly and holds it there. And then when they let it go, the plane lurches upward, the bomb falls away, and they've got a rope attached to these and they can pull that back up in. So if you get your reference books, you can have a look and see. And then that there is the piece that's going to cover the nose. So that is basically going to sit on the front there, and that's going to cover up all your nose and everything. So there's no nose turret. So it should be a fairly quickish build if you build it out of the box, because really with the Lancaster all the detail is in the cockpit and the turrets. You've only got one turret, so it should be a fairly quick-ish build. And if you don't worry about accuracy and, you know, filling in these panels and the lights and everything, and just build it out of the box, you won't have any problems at all. So there we go. So very, very nice indeed. Before we say goodbye, I just want to have a very, very quick look at the wheels, because I've got some aftermarket wheels, and I'll just show you those. Okay, so looking at wheels, here we have the Lancaster wheels from Edward. These are 632144, and you can see these are a direct replacement for the kit parts. They're very nice. They have all the tyre lettering on them and everything, and a complete tread-free pattern, which is correct for a wartime, early wartime Lancaster B1, B3, Dam Buster, whatever. They are correct. Even a tall boy carrying Lanc. I actually bought these for my tall boy Lancaster thinking that it used different wheels, but it doesn't. So I got the kit to go with the wheels, if you like. This has got the cross tread pattern. This is very, very late war and post-war, so I'm not even sure if they're absolutely correct for this model, but they were all I could see at the time. You can see they're a lot fatter than the standard tyre, and a lot squarer in profile. When you look at them like that, you can see they're a bit squarer in profile, so there is quite a difference there. And the wheels themselves, these are a two-part, and you've got these cooling fins that form the outside of the wheel rim. They go, you can see they're much bigger than the ordinary standard Lancaster wheels. So that's a little something you might want to get if you're into your accuracy. I've got these from Hannants. These are the Ames 32P048, and yeah, very nice little set of wheels to make the Lancaster look a bit more like a hot rod, like a Carlos Fandango custom job. And then just quickly before we go, I'll very quickly show you this. As I say, if there's two things you get for this kit, it's the mast set and a cockpit set. This is the air scale instrument set, and it's absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, you've got all the panels for all those different panels going around the aircraft there. So very nicely done indeed. And this is the this is the set. And now I've just had a look at the website, robertmrozowski.com, and it's gone. He's completely gone. He's given up. So that's a real shame, because he does some really, really beautiful stuff. I mean, you can see the instructions are very complex. This is a very beautiful set, and you can see he's got all the detail there to add the extra detail should you wish to. And you know, here's the images of the seat and everything. Very, very nice indeed. So it's almost a shame to use that because it's obviously no longer available. But if I just show you a couple of parts of it, here's the 3D printed seat, for example. And I know there's a lot of people that want to get these that can't get them. The last I heard, somebody said he'd stopped making this set and he was working on a set for the border model, which I thought was very strange because the border model doesn't need a set really. It's very good out of the box. I just hope he's okay. I hope he hasn't fallen in or something. But you can see here there's the side of the seat, and there's the other side. Beautifully done. I've done a full review of this. You go and have a look on my you know, my Lancaster stuff. You'll see it there. But yeah, beautifully done. You can see all the holes are there across the back, which, you know, to all intents and purposes, the border Lancaster's got all this in it. But you know, it's never going to be as nice as that because it's injection molded. But as you can see, you've got the option of cushions here. You've got flat cushions or ribbed cushion, or no cushion. You can do what you want. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So there we go. And as you can see, this is a commercial sample. He kindly sent me this for a review. You can see here he's telling you in the instructions to remove that great big pedestal and then replace it with this resin part. So there we go. So anyway, thank you for watching. That has been a review of this beautiful kit from Hong Kong Models. I'm really pleased I got it, and at the price, you know, 270 quid, it's a bargain. So go get yourself one. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye for now.